Hey, it's Casey, your professional turned chronically ill, and today I'm starting a series called What If D&D? And this one is going to be Saint Glinda edition. To make this happen, I'm going to need some pink dice, the player's handbook, probably Xanathar's guide based off of some ideas I have for class. Oh, and let's throw in my very old, well-worn Wicked book. My favorite version of Glinda is from the books, so we're going to focus heavily on that and her character development from there, but my design choices are clearly going to be based off of the movie and musical, especially her dresses, and I'm also looking at the press circuit of the dresses they're wearing there. So with all of that in mind, let's start thinking about what class she's going to be, because clearly she's a high elf. I think everyone's first initial thought is going to be Bard. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I think this is a very shallow take on her character in any of the formats that we see her in. So I kind of want to dive a little deeper. In my head, I know that she's charisma based, but I see her taking notes of cleric. So with some research, that kind of led me to the idea of either a celestial warlock or a divine soul sorcerer. In the books, at the end, what Glinda is good for is her community protection and her base around community, which is why I think that a cleric kind of makes sense. And I know that a lot of you right now are thinking that's a stretch, but in the book she becomes a saint and is considered like a divine figure for a lot of people in Oz. So that's kind of clerical, but I also think that she can only affect change in small community-based sectors, which is still valuable. So I think that makes it make more sense. For reasons I won't go into because they might spoil some of the book story if you haven't read it, but she can't affect big change. She can't go against the wizard or big government. So how she does her good in the world is by helping the smaller communities at large. One of the main things of note with that too is she essentially prevents a internal civil war from happening and tries to calm down the civil unrest from a community that was recently lost their dictator, essentially. So with that in mind, I really am leaning towards Divine Soul Sorcerer, especially because at around level 14, they get a flight ability, which we can easily respec to her bubble. And I think that, her wand would be her arcane focus, and I think that there's evidence that Glinda is inherently magical. It's not as prominent in the movies, but I like to note that when she does her popular song, her dresses move and the world turns pink for a second. I think that's her magic. She just hasn't fully tapped into it yet. That's just my own little fan theory. So with Divine Soul Sorcerer, it really fits because I feel like it's a very charismatic role. Sorcerers have a lot of charm spells, and really kind of centers around her charismatic influence being magic, and then lets her tap into some healing spells. So she's not a healer, but she's got limited healing spells that people can benefit from. So that's why I'm going to choose Divine Soul Sorcerer, but I'll also explain why I think Celestial Warlock could work, and then you can go into the comments and tell me why I'm wrong. Right off the bat, the idea of a warlock is really cheeky because currently in the movies, they show that she doesn't really have a lot of magic, or it's implied that maybe her magic isn't real. So if Glinda was to ever truly get powers, she would have to make a deal with a higher patron, which, you know, kind of plays in with a lot of the movie themes, and I think that's very fun and does work. If you do go that route, you'd end up having to make like an object for her bubble, like some sort of magical object for transportation, which could be fun. That could be fun to design, like a magical item for the game. But yeah, it's not as in depth, I feel like, and it doesn't really get to the things that I resonated with personally with Glinda. But I do think it's fun, and I think there's a lot of parallels with, again, like the charismatic based sorcery, and, you know, like parallel spells, because I think Celestial Warlock is given access to cleric spells as well, so you get essentially the same thing. It's just, is she innately magical or is she not? I know, you're probably still shouting at the screen Bard, so why not give me a little comment telling me I'm wrong, and also why don't you subscribe, because I want to do more of this, and I think you want to see more of this. At the end of this illustration, I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it in a full, like, 1-page D&D sheet with all the stats and spells I chose for her. So you, if you want, can go to my Ko-fi, become a member, and have a high-resolution download that you could actually put Glinda in your game. So with that in mind, I do want to do more videos like this, so comment characters you'd like to see. Doesn't have to be Wicked, it could be from anything. I'm willing to try it all. This was a lot of fun as a D&D player and not a DM. It was interesting to wrap my head around the idea of essentially taking a 14 level character sheet and condensing it into like 1 page for NPC usage. Yeah, and honestly, you know, if you're a member and you have the sheet, you can use her as your own character in your own campaign, or if you like anything that I said, my ideas about Glinda as a D&D character, use them. Respec your character, whatever. Put your own version of Glinda into the game. And, you know, if you do, send me details. I want to hear about how you did it, and the things that maybe you thought would make her a really cool character. And if you're still here watching, like, thank you so much. I'm gonna stop talking and let this video finish out. At the end, I will show the character sheets. I didn't record the process because I forgot. So I didn't show how I took this illustration into Illustrator and turned it into a functioning page, unfortunately. I will try to record that data next time. I do think it's kind of boring because it's a lot of text work, but you know, that's okay. I think that seeing some of that behind the scenes is valuable. So anyway, I'm gonna let this video finish, enjoy the final results, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!